Howdy. As a relatively new player to D&D, although I've known about it and done stuff about it for years, being a new player, I keep asking, like, how do I do this, and can I do this, and is this possible, and so forth. Some of them are like, you can do whatever you want, but some of them are a little bit odd at times. One of them being familiars. I was looking for how you acquire a familiar, and also chimeras for that matter. And it came across as rather strange. In the newly acquired handbook, they're depicted in a rather limited way. So for creatures that are supposed to be, it could be anything, and they're not. So today, I'm going to sort of address the issue and propose a solution. A familiar is your soulmate, your spirit animal. It's sort of your quirks in a creature. In the handbooks, both old and new, a familiar is, let's find the page, a familiar is conjured via a spell. A level 1 spell, casting time an hour, range 10 feet, is created by burning 10 gold pieces worth of charcoal incense in a brass pot over a fire. Then a familiar is conjured and takes on the form of a nearby animal, which can be a bat, a cat, a frog, a hawk, a lizard, an octopus, an owl, a rat, a raven, a spider, a weasel, or a seahorse. Oh, and a fish, a piranha fish. That'd be really useful in the middle of a forest or on top of a mountain. You want your familiar to pop out and be like, I'm dying. A seahorse. I mean, they're caring, but not much use. Fine, it's okay if they're in the middle of the ocean, that'd be great. But really, they're not really that practical. And the others are, well, predictable or boring, really. Cats. Oh, obviously it's going to be a cat, or a snake if you're going to be evil, or a raven. And it's very, very controlling and very unnatural. Finding a familiar should be a karmic experience, a chance encounter. You wander along a path and you keep seeing a stray weasel that seems to be following you, and you end up sort of bonding with it there. Or you go to an inn and you sit at the bar and you keep seeing the cat sitting on the bar, licking its paws and keeping eye contact with you. And you can't draw your eyes away from it. Something is attracting you to it. So you get up and you go to the bar and strike up a conversation with a cat. And this is perfectly normal to you. You don't even think twice about it. And you instinctively know stuff about it, and it tells you its name's Brian, not Meowski, like the barman keeps insisting on calling him. You learn that the cat is just chilling at the bar waiting for someone to come along, and here you are. You either poach the cat or pay off the barman and take Brian and go off on a sort of into the sunset, magically bonding and becoming one with your soulmate familiar. There should be this instinctiveness to finding your familiar, not a spell conjured in a brass pot over a fire. You know, it's a bit. And also, it takes on the nearest animal, which is more likely just going to be a rat. Who the hell would want a rat as a familiar? Yeah, I don't like rats. The one cool bit is it can change. You can, over time, change it, but you have to do the conjuring spell and change it from a rat to a snake. But again, it's still rather limited. Well, if you want your familiar to be a red panda, you know, something odd, peculiar. The only way I found a familiar to be more natural and more like instinctive is during my Wednesday night game, one of the players acquired a bag of tricks, a grey bag rather than a red one like this. He had it for weeks before he started looking into it, literally. Then he started poking around and seeing what it was, and it is just a bag made of grey cloth and appears to be empty. There is also a rust bag and a tan bag, and take it from me, the tan bag is the best one to get if you have a choice. So reaching into the bag, you reach through and you pull out a ball of fluff that weighs about half a pound. You then cast it and throw it up to 20 feet away, and it will materialize an animal. It transforms into one of 8 animals. Roll a d8 and you get one of 8 animals: a weasel, a giant rat, Again, why? A badger, a boar, a panther, a giant badger, not to be confused with a normal badger, a dire wolf, or a giant elk. I mean, that's a random mix, but why 2 types of badger? I mean, could you not think of 8 animals without going, a badger and, oh no, that's all the animals in the world. Right, a giant badger. I mean, you could have had a bison or a giraffe, a hedgehog, or an archerfish, given the random fish thing. And as I said, of the 3 bags, the tan bag has the best combination of animals, not including a giant and a normal size anything. But it's still not that bonding experience of finding a cat in a bar and discovering his name's Brian, you know? The same can be said for chimeras. You'll know this one, my chimera, a mixed bag of all sorts of bits and pieces of animals, all bundled inside the body of a dog with tons and tons of white fluffy fur. But my chimera doesn't exist in a D&D world, because in D&D a chimera is one thing, a chaotic evil monster that has the body and head of a lion, the feet and head of a goat, and the wings, tail and head of a dragon. And that's it. It can't be your familiar. It can only be a fearsome creature that you've got to battle. Whereas this thing is not fearsome, very rarely even barks. So there are no variants and quirks. The best example of a chimera has to be Wheel of Time, really. The Trollocs are the perfect example of what a chimera should be. They are humanoid that have been mutated and moulded around a human figure. So the head of a lion, the horns of a goat, the legs of a deer, and tail of a lizard or something. And they are vicious and they walk upright, but they are an amalgamation in one body, and they're bits and pieces rather than 2 3-headed Cerberus creatures. And none of them have a kicky foot. The point is that more than just one thing could be a chimera, or for that matter, a familiar. It'd be one of those things you want to be bonded with. So like, imagine you're walking through a forest and you discover a creature that's got a muskrat's body and a badger's head and legs of a squirrel monkey. You know, it's not going to strike you as, oh my god, it's a chimera, I've got to kill it. It's going to be more of a, will you be my familiar? It's got to be quirky and weird and whatever. Rather than something you're just going to pull out of a grey bag and go, are you a giant badger or a normal sized badger? Are you a normal sized chimera or a small chimera? So what do we do about this? Well, what we always do in situations like this, if you don't like the rules, cheat. And in this case, that means homebrew. So you either have 2 choices. We either roll a bag of dice for a chimera and create an abominable creation, a Frankenstein thing, or you simply just go to an emporium and wander around until you find something that suits. Well, let's start with rolling for one, and then I'll take you to a secret I know of. But they will be coming up in the next videos, because otherwise this video is going to be an hour long and take a year to edit. So come back next week for how to make your own chimera / familiar, and then we'll head off to Professor Oligax. Go and see a man about a dog, cat, bear, phoenix, budgie, muskrat, dagu, piranha, lion creature. Until then, bye.